White House.
Let's bring in former special assistant to the president, Michael Allen. Just want to pull up these maps here for everybody to see. These are Ukraine's gains over Russia in the past few months. And I'm wondering, from your expertise, is that one of the reasons that President Biden felt like he could say that yesterday?
Yes, but I think negotiations and talks will play a role in ending this war, but it's too soon. Putin does not feel beaten. He's still sending cruise missiles and otherwise knocking out critical infrastructure inside of Ukraine. If there were some sort of ceasefire now, it would only be a time for Putin to rearm and reconstitute. So there will come a day, I think, when the allies put pressure on the Ukrainians for what's your exit strategy, but not now when they're taking territory back.
Just within the last week, NATO foreign minister said that NATO's got Ukraine's back.
That's right.
Which is the last thing that Vladimir Putin wants to hear, which would suggest that this is going to be a long war.
It's going to be a long war. I think the Ukrainians want to make significant gains in the south. That's the future vitality of their economy. They need access to the Black Sea. They need to be able to export their grain and other foodstuffs. So there is some long period ahead of us in 2023 where I think the Ukrainians need to make significant progress for them to feel like they've won the war.
And what do you think about Macron's involvement?
Well, I kind of think they're a little bit of freelancing all the time. Macron always seems to be trying to insinuate himself into the situation. Just 2 weeks ago, he was suggesting that the Chinese broker talks between the Russians. I just don't think it's ripe yet for negotiations. I guess it's okay to keep talking, but let's not try and force the Ukrainians into premature peace talks.
It's going to be a big topic over the next 2 days here at the Reagan Forum in California. We'll get more on that in a moment. Also, the Reagan survey is out, was released about 36 hours ago. One issue that they're finding that's getting a lot of attention is how political the military has become. They asked the question, do you have a decreased confidence in military due to politicization? And 34% said a great deal. How do you interpret that?
Well, I'm worried about it. We're behind in our recruiting levels. There's a crisis in confidence in many institutions in the United States. And our military shouldn't be used as a place for social experiments. Its job is to fight and win wars, to deter enemies from attacking the United States and compromising our interests. And so they need to stay on task, on topic, and not spend too much time on these types of other societal issues.
Specifically, where do you think they've gone that they shouldn't?
Well, we can only do so much education on issues outside the basics of what soldiers ought to be learning every day. They have enough to learn in terms of strategy, tactics, training, and the rest. As I say, it's not a place for social experimentation. That can be done elsewhere. And the military's got to fight and win wars, and we ought to quit meddling with their mission.
I'll be moderating a panel on this tomorrow. We have a really good group of people to learn from. But one of the issues I thought was very interesting was just even in terms of physical fitness, the inability for us to be able to recruit a lot of people because you can't pass the physical fitness requirements, and we can't lower them anymore either.
That's right. We have, fair to say, a crisis. We have a geopolitical competition with China and with Russia. We have to maintain strong military so that we can deter these two actors. And I think we're in a little bit of trouble, and I hope we can explore that this weekend and figure it out.
That's a really good point about the deterring. It's not just for fighting. It's for deterrence.
Exactly. That's the essence of what the U.S. military is for. That's why the American people spend so much on it.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Michael Allen, great to see you.
Looking forward to spending the next 2 days with you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
In a moment.